Call the city council meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Iko Angeli.
Here.
Vining.
Here.
Germaine.
Here.
Lamore. Here. Felder.
Here.
Whitman. Mayor Clark.
Here, I'd ask we all please rise for invocation. Remain standing.
We ask for guidance and direction as we come together. Grant us the strength to manage the challenges ahead and the wisdom to identify opportunities as we strive to serve our community. As we make decisions, grant us the gift of an open mind, the willingness to learn, and the humility to accept the ideas of others. Please help us recognize diversity as a blessing and unity as our strength.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item, please.
The first item is item number 4, amend agenda if necessary.
Any items to be amended to the agenda? Just past due, I don't think we had any. Council, any items? Seeing none. Next item.
The next item would be citizen comments not related to an agenda item.
Thank you. Are there any of those present this evening wish to make comments not related to an agenda item? Any comments from those present here this evening? Seeing none. Next item, please.
The next item is a presentation. Item 1952, presentation by Vince Pastu, manager, as a continued review of City Council goals and objectives.
Thank you. Mr. Pastu.
Your Honor, thank you. City Council. Wanted to just spend a little time, since we didn't have, we had a fairly lengthy work session, but to go through some of the changes, in the comments from our session on Saturday, January 27th, and received a couple of comments from council members. And I actually want to flip to the second page to start with. There were just a handful that I received from council member Iko Angeli, and just want to go through some of those. The first is where you see this arrow kind of moving up, the point of sale inspection implementation should be accompanied with the neighborhood enterprise zone. And so if there's, along with identifying a communication plan, also the implementation of the point of sale inspection program would have to be part of that. So if there's no additional thoughts or comments with it, it is something that we technically need to move up there. We'll just look to amend that. And then on the second item, it talks about enhancing blight remediation, and there's language in there to, procure an application that would increase citizen engagement, and we would look to do that as well. We didn't have that as part of the web presentation tonight, like we talked at the January 27th. We have another demonstration, I think, scheduled later this week from one of the vendors that we would report back to the city council. Maybe not the most it's a very good program, but maybe not as expensive as the C-Click fix that would serve a similar function. If you go down to item B at the bottom, B5, it would essentially extend the river walk to Winchester Street and explore opportunities to improve the River and Heritage Trail. I know there's some maintenance issues that we need to contemplate along with that. And then down at the bottom is just, I think, kind of a switch of taking the public art that was part of the support, the revitalization of downtown, and incorporating that into reactivating the Arts and Culture Committee as part of that initiative. I think we could reword that at the staff level to incorporate both the initiative and the reactivation of the Arts and Culture Committee. So. And then on the last, about fiscal responsibility, F5, evaluate goals of environmental, and I think that one we might just have a broader discussion as we go through the other comments that we had received from the mayor with that. So, but I think all of those, certainly items that a couple of them that we can certainly incorporate, and one we should do with that. So. The other is, again, and this is your first look at it, and so I'm kind of going through that. The mayor had identified a few things with the language, and I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling with, should we do this at a work session and make it a little more engaged where you have enough additional time with it? So I would probably, I guess, at this point, look to reschedule it, because there is some wording changes in here, but it gives you a sense how we can fine-tune this, and certainly encourage council if there's some things that you want to look to incorporate in there and refine or clarify, that we certainly can look at some of those and incorporate that, I think, in a future work session, because we could easily spend a lot of time with this, and you haven't had much advanced prep to look at. So, thoughts, comments?
Your Honor, I would motion that in an effort to have some more time to review this and make comments, that we table this and cover it at a future work session.
I guess the question will be, do you want it at a work session or back at a council meeting? If it's a council meeting, then we would table it, but if it's a work session, we could just more of a comment, say you recommend that we pursue it at a future work session, and then as it comes back full circle, it'll come back onto the agenda in a future date as well. So, I'll make a quick comment, because there's, some of these, as I thought through, as we've done goals and objectives in the past, we get the first kind of version is really a collection of the information. I know Clerk Lavoie and I were chatting about that, because a couple years ago and back, we kind of sit down and start tweaking that from the information given. So there's a lot of comments and items that were presented at the work session, and rightfully so, they're in front of us. And as I started going through it, I was trying to look at how we could, maybe short phrase some of it, but also incorporate maybe some that would compare just as, or kind of be combined just as Councilman Michelangelo had. And I think it's a chance that you can go through the list and look at these, and just some of it was conversations we had that made it on the list, and starting thinking through some other comments that we had, especially at the end. So there's, so please look at that, and we'll get back together at a work session. We kind of really dive into each of these goals and individual objectives. I think that's a great idea, so thank you. Any comments offhand right now for the council? So I guess the direction,
We'll bring it back
is bring it back in a work session. We can really kind of fine-tune these, and then get it back on the agenda for action. Mitch, anything further on that?
Nothing with that. No.
Okay. Clerk, next item, please.
The next item is a public hearing. Item 1948, public hearing to receive and review comments on the proposed capital improvements program budget for fiscal years 2018 through 2024. And there are no comments on file in the clerk's office.
Thank you. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing regarding item 1948, which is to receive and review comments on the proposed capital improvements program budget for fiscal years 2018 to 2024. Any comments from those present here this evening? Comments from council regarding the... Okay, seeing no comments, close the public hearing. Clerk, next item, please.
The next item is the consent agenda, and item B, approval of payments. The amount should read $653,168.03, 653,168.03.
Thank you. If there's any items on the consent agenda to be pulled, but there are no items on the consent agenda to be pulled. So this is unusual. But there'll be opportunities for council to make some comments if they wish to. Clerk, is there any next item?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda and the approval of the minutes and the approval of payments.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Michelangelo, supported by Councilwoman Whitman, that we accept the consent agenda for the items stated. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Michelangelo?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Germaine?
Yes.
Lamore?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next
I've-
item, please.
I have no further items, Your Honor.
Council comments. Councilman Michelangelo.
I'll start. Your Honor, I think for a work session discussion item, I'd like to have the city manager put on one of the agendas the planning commission in terms of looking at reducing it from 9 members to 7 members. We had talked about it. We did the same recently for the zoning board of appeals. I'd like to discuss that at a workshop in terms of reducing the PC from 9 to 7. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thanks, Councilman. Councilwoman Vining.
Other than to say that was a very informative work session. I'm glad that we conduct the work sessions the way we do now. It helps us to really stay informed.
Councilwoman Germaini.
No comment.
Councilman Lamore.
I just want to thank Mark from LAT for his presentation this evening. I thought it was very interesting. And I also want to thank the staff for their continued work and bringing to light everything that we need to see on City Council. Thank you.
Councilman Felder.
Director Egan, wonderful job with the website. I really look forward to sinking my teeth into that and exploring what's there. It's I think it's going to be an asset for the community. Thank you for your work on that.
Councilwoman Whitman.
I would just like to say that I'm really looking forward to this year with a lot of the changes that we've made and some of the things that we have coming up, the works on the parks and recreation. And but I would also like to make a comment that I went to a funeral Saturday for another 20-year-old who had died of an overdose. So we have wonderful things going on, life is going on. But please, let's not forget that we have an epidemic that is taking our young people. And that's all. Thank you.
Just have a couple comments. And first, I want to thank the volunteers that came downtown over the last weekend on Saturday morning to help take down the decorations as we transition. Spring will be here soon, so we're getting the holiday and Christmas decorations down. I want to remind everybody the next council meeting is going to be on a Tuesday, February 20th, because Monday is the holiday for President's Day. And I also want to thank Communications Director Jody Egan for the website rollout. I know it was a quick rollout at our last work session, and I would look forward to having Ms. Egan come back and also maybe do a follow-up to what was presented as we get through some of those additional items she's talking about on use policies and that. Not necessarily focused on that, but all the great assets that are available on the new website, and it looks wonderful. Clerk Treasurer Lavoie.
I have no comment this evening, Your Honor.
Oh, sorry. Councilman Michelangeli.
I have one that I forgot, Your Honor. This is primarily for Vince and the administrative staff. This afternoon, DEQ announced a very quick turnaround grant application for Blue Water Trail planning, and the application deadline is March the 5th. It's a special grant. Like I said, very quick turnaround. They're giving communities about 3 weeks to put it together. Based on our workshop discussion in terms of the kayak canoe launch at Mill Race, some of the issues that we have with the river, it may be worthwhile taking a look at the application and actually do a Blue Water Trail plan for the city to identify all of our opportunities and regarding that type of recreational use. So just wanted to bring that up.
Yes. Mr. Pastor.
It's more of looking at I'm sorry, it's more of a study that funding that
It's
would,
for planning,
okay,
Blue Trail planning
okay.
grant. It's through the coastal management program. I happened to notice it today. That's all I have, Your Honor. I forgot about that.
That's good. Mr. Bastu, any comments?
I think the only thing I had, and I'm looking at Mr. Lewis to maybe fill in some of the details. I saw some email where we got some additional tree funding from ITC, and that, how much was that? 5,000. So, which is nice. They've been good to work with, and so we've got another 5,000 that we can work toward our tree program, of which is certainly on our goals and objectives to have a more comprehensive plan as well. So, other than that, I don't have anything else.
Very good. So with that, any comments from those present here this evening? Any citizens' comments? Seeing none. Next item, need a motion.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing land acquisition.
Support?
Motion by Councilman Kalangely, supported by Councilman Felder. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Nicoangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Jermaine?
Yes.
Lamore? Felder? Whitman?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes.